beautiful Florida. And today our question comes to us from Roaring Mind. And Roaring Mind has a question about astrology, and it is this. Roaring Mind asks whether it is possible for a person's ascendant sign to be calculated incorrectly, even with the right birth information. And the reason that Roaring Mind asks this is that Roaring Mind feels that their astrological chart fits them quite well. Sun in Cancer, Moon in Sagittarius, everything seems to fit their personality except the ascendant in Scorpio. And so they wonder if this could be wrong. And the answer to that is that astrology works on mathematics. And I personally think that it works primarily on mathematics, but that's a different vlog. But because it works on mathematics, as long as the mathematics are done correctly, the answer will always be the same. Now, in the days when charts were still done by hand, the answer would have been, well, yes, there certainly could be an error somewhere, and you might have someone else recast the chart, because mathematics by hand can be tricky and people would make mistakes. But for some time now, astrology has been mainly done by computer, and a mistake is very, very unlikely. Though you can still go out and have your chart done by other services and see if they all come back the same, but I think you'll find they will. And my answer to your question is I think that the actual problem here is not an incorrect calculation of the ascendant, but perhaps an incomplete understanding of the sign of Scorpio. And Scorpio is one of the more complicated signs in the zodiac because it can be expressed either very negatively or very positively. And depending on the sources that you have consulted and where you have learned from, it's not uncommon to get only the negative understanding of Scorpio. But in real life, that is not necessarily what you encounter. When positively expressed, Scorpio can be one of the most spiritual signs in the zodiac and an extremely positive sign. But when negatively expressed, it is negative in the extreme as well. And there is an analogy that I was taught when I was learning astrology, which is that there are three kinds of Scorpios: the scorpion, the serpent, and the eagle. And the idea was that the scorpion is very negative. It can be very brooding, very jealous, very stinging, like a scorpion. The serpent is kind of in the middle, very focused on power, very focused on expressing its dominance of its situation, very protective of itself, but the eagle is very spiritually advanced and rises above its situations to become very spiritual. And all three of these can be expressed as Scorpio. So what I would say is perhaps look a little bit farther into the sign Scorpio and see if maybe it doesn't fit you better than you think, and that perhaps you simply have not encountered a full understanding of it. And I think that you may find this is the case. And in astrology in general, you want to remember that many of the sources out there are very simplified, and particularly so introductory sources. But if you look farther, you'll often find a great deal more commentary that can be very helpful to your understanding than you will find in beginners' books. But even in more advanced books, they don't always get everything. So the more you learn, the better off you're going to be. And also the more you experience through working with astrology, the better you're going to understand it yourself. So that would be my answer. I hope you find it helpful. And until next time, may you blessed be. Please join me for our Correllian Peace Prayer. I pray for peace. I pray for love. I pray for stability. I pray for the nation where I live. I pray for the world. Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from witchschool.com. Are you looking for the best in pagan and magical education? With more than 12,000 pages, witchschool.com is like having your own personal library with individual learning assistants to help you study. And Witch School's Anyone, Anytime, Anywhere education system is available any place on Earth, anywhere you are and anytime you want it, as long as you have an internet connection. Witch School's lifetime memberships are a great value. They really do last a lifetime. They've been there for years and they'll be there for years to come. So get your membership today at witchschool.com.